Hey guys, welcome to Fishing Tackle channel. Today I wanted to share my review of these two competitive reels from Shimano and Daiwa. So the Shimano model is called Ocea Conquest or Ocea Conquest, however you want to pronounce it. And the model is 201HG. And H stands for high gear. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then we have the Daiwa reel, and this one is called Basara, right here. Let me see. Basara 200, and they're both left-handed. Again, if it's left-handed, you're reeling with left hand, and you're holding the rod with the right hand. So these are the two gold-plated. I can't remember if it's aluminum, but they're both saltwater specific reel. So I think the only feature that I've noticed the difference between these two are that this one has a centrifugal, I believe, centrifugal brake. So I think that's the only difference. There's this brakes right here. I think that's what it's called. I'm not an expert, so you could all correct me if I'm wrong. That's the only difference. So I believe if you're looking for something that requires casting, specifically, you do want to pay extra for this. I think if you know how to set your tension knob correctly and know your place on your thumb, you could most definitely cast with this. However, when you open this up right here, I'm not going to do a total breakdown. I'm just going to do a review of my personal as a hobbyist. Again, I'm not an expert, so don't criticize me for not knowing what I'm saying. I'm only sharing my observation based on my own experience. I don't break these apart. I'm not a tackle expert. I believe there are plenty of channels for that if you want those advanced knowledge of it. But as you can see, there's no brake specific gear here other than this is pretty much what you get. Let me see guys, I'm putting this together. And I've noticed that this one does come off, so my plate fell off while I was fishing, so that's something to watch out for. Notice that like these little screws, these have to be checked regularly because Daiwa, I don't know what's with Daiwa. That's something that's like my only complaint about Daiwa. As for this, again, this has a nice little double lever and so forth, so it's pretty good. The difference, the weight wise, it's pretty similar. I think this is a little bit lighter. Feels lighter, feels smaller on your hand. So if you have a smaller hand, definitely this is the way to go. I think this is small enough too. But definitely the thumb wise, this has a lot smaller spool right here versus Daiwa. This one, I'm pretty picky about little details, and definitely Shimano has all the clickers I'm looking for, as well as drag clicker, much louder versus Daiwa, a little bit quieter. This one, I don't know why they don't have a clicker on this tension knob, but this was definitely tight. So you don't have to worry about losing it, but it's pretty tight for how it is. But here's a clicker for your star drag, and that's the sound of it. The handle, I do prefer the Daiwa, just so much cooler than these Evo or Eva thing that this one comes with. I don't know what would be the better quality. I've heard some people say that during summer these things could get really hot, but then the overall reel could get really hot. I've never had that issue, so that's not of a concern. The gear wise, this one is, I believe, 6.3. So it is high gear. Anything from 6.1 to 7.1 is considered high gear. Anything above that, 7.1 and above, is called the ultra high gear. This one is 6.1 or 2 or something like that. So they're both high gear, but at the low end, right between low gear and high gear. So I think that's to give the power you need to pull big fish, but at the same time give you that high speed reeling capability, so you could fish in a deeper water. And I believe these will have at least 500 feet of braid on here. Don't quote me on that, but if I had to buy one or another, I would probably go with the Basara, just because it's much cheaper. It's pretty much half the price of this one. So Shimano will cost you around 400 or more. I would never pay for that much for this reel. I don't think it's worth the price for 400. For 200 I'll buy it. That's how much I pay for this, around 230. You could get it on Amazon. It'll get shipped from Japan. They're both Japan-made domestic product. So when you get Ocea Conquest, most tackle shop probably, unless they're importing it, they're not going to sell these. They'll probably sell the US edition. I think they call these like Calcutta, and then they've added some features like additional like a knob for casting adjustment, like magnetic or whatnot. So I don't do bass fishing. I don't do top water or casting with this, and if I do top water, I don't need to cast that far. And I would probably recommend using a spinning reel if you're going to cast. But for deep sea fishing, this is more than enough for me. But again, for 200, I'll probably get 2 of these rather than 1 of these. I'll get left-hander as well as right-hander for long day of fishing. So they're both ultra smooth, and their drag is good enough. And I mean, like a shark, like one of those spinal sharks, you could definitely pull those up. Eel, you could pull them up. Bluefish, I pulled them up with these. So yeah, they're ultra smooth. If they're pulling drag, you could set it, and it's pretty tight. It's very smooth, and when you're reeling them in, you reel them in very without much, without having to use much muscle. And then this drag helps you. The sound helps you to adjust whether or not you're pulling anything at all. So if you're pulling it, if your fish is coming in while they're fighting, you won't hear anything. So, but if they're fighting back or pulling drag, you'll hear this noise. That's what's so great about it. I mean, this should be a standard thing now. Most of the fishing reel sold in Asia, or now even in like New Zealand and Australia, especially made in Japan or Korea, or domestic products in those countries, these are all standard. Most of the places, cases, even the raw cases, they all come in standard because of the competitiveness. People there, they go with the high quality, and those extra details really matters for those fishermen. So they don't just suck it up and say, oh, this is how it is, so we're just gonna live with what they give us. And if they don't like it, I guess the country is smaller, right? Population might be higher, but the word spread fast. And when something is popular, everybody gets it. Like this reel, right? This reel got very popular, especially in Korea, and everybody was out to get one of these, and they're paying a lot of money for it. but because of the quality of it and the years these last on fish, I mean, people are using this to pull up anywhere 30 to 35-inch halibut, flounder, those flat fish that are very heavy. So they're pulling them up without a problem. But like I said, if I'm recommending to someone which gold reel they should get, definitely get it. Get the Basara. They're just like this, made in Japan. Very good quality control, well built, very smooth. That's one of the things I'm biased about Daiwa. Something about when you're fishing and you're reeling it in, you want to have that feeling of smooth, but at the same time, some of when it pulls drag, that feeling of actually fishing, right? You don't want something that is so heavy and so strong. You just reel it in and almost like it's not even fishing, right? It's just work. And at the same time, just the overall style of it is just nice to look at. It just makes me happy looking at him. I don't know if you know what I mean. But if you have any other questions, let me know. But overall, they're very good. I would not recommend this because it's cost so much and I didn't pay for it. I won this as a fishing tournament in Korea. I beat out, I think, 29 other people with the biggest fish for the day. But that's how I got it. Yeah, so if you go to Korea, go on the right season. I think usually starting of summer season or launch of spring season, all the boats, they have somewhat of a association for all the fishermen captain for head boat, and they get together and they launch this event. And you don't have to pay in. The law is very strict about gambling and things like that, so you don't pay in. You pay the boat fee for the full day trip, and you're automatically entered into it. So like first place to the fifth place, that you get like $400 to like a $200 fishing rod, which is awesome. That's how I got my other Shimano Infinity rod. I won a second place on that one. So yes, I did win a lot of fishing tournament. I get very lucky. But hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll talk to you guys later.